Wow. Just those Miss Bates monologues are just like insane. Um I can't imagine what it would be like to watch a movie of this or something like. I mean, she just goes on and on and on and on and on. And I mean, you could just see all sorts of things happening in the background. If this were a movie, you would have Miss Bates talking and talking and talking, and they'd be walking down the street, and you would have people passing, and you'd have the kids at the bakery looking at the gingerbread, and ooh, gingerbread, I love gingerbread, and at the butcher shop, and you would have all of these different things going on in the background. Now, this chapter started out with Emma feeling horrible that Harry or feeling horrible that Jane was a much better piano player and singer than she was. And to her credit, she acknowledged that it was because she didn't practice enough. And so she said, I am going to practice and get better, which is a good thing. But her approach was, I am going to power through an hour and a half of practice right now. The thing is that the way you get good at anything is you make it a habit. And she would be better served by doing 15 minutes of practice every day for 2 weeks than an hour and a half every 2 weeks. That if she just does 15 minutes a day, she would get better. And maybe once she got used to doing 15 minutes a day every day, maybe bump it up to 20 or 30. This is the way you get fit. You don't get fit by saying, okay, I'm going to do 5 miles today. No, you get fit by doing a little bit every day. You walk 5 miles, or you run 5 miles, or you, not 5 miles, sorry, 5 minutes. You do 5 minutes. And you do 5 minutes every day. And then maybe after a week, you bump it up to 6. Or maybe after a week, you go from walking 5 minutes to running for a minute, walking for 4. And there's all sorts of things that are like this, where it's like, okay, this is a couch to a 5K race. And the idea is that you build it up slowly and you make it a consistent habit. And if you do anything as a consistent habit, you will improve. So if you want to improve at reading, you read 5 minutes every day or 10 minutes every day. And you just build it up and you'll get better at it. Or you practice math. And you do your times tables and you practice the math. And you sit down. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 7 is 35. That's an easy one. The 7s always gave me problems. But Schoolhouse Rock is a good way to learn math. But anyway, 7, 14, 21, 21, 28. Lolly is just going 35, 42. 7 times 6, I always remembered, is 42. 7 times 7 is 49. I remember the squares easy enough. 7 times 8 is 56. That is the one that always gave me trouble. I was like, 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 9 is 63. That's easy to remember because you add the two digits together and you get 9. Because if you sum up the digits of any number divisible by 9, the answer will be divisible by 9. So if you have a number 279, you say 2 plus 7 plus 9 is 18. 18 is divisible by 9, so 279 is divisible by 9. Anyway, so Emma is going to look at the piano and see how it goes. There was something kind of interesting in the middle of the apple story. So the apple story goes on, and they got the apples from Mr. Knightley in a roundabout sort of way. Because William Larkins, I guess, works for Mr. Knightley and brought over the apples. because Mr. Knightley said, "Oh, take these apples over." And apples are very much a fall fruit. You only pretty much have real fresh apples in the fall. Then you can store them up for the winter, and then in the spring they're pretty much all gone or rotten. But apples are a fall fruit, and so he had Mr. Knightley has an orchard. He sold off most of his apples. He kept a few for himself. But he sent a bag of apples over to the Bateses, and Jane living with them. So he sent a bag of apples over there. And it came out from William Larkins that this was his last bag of apples. And so that means that he gave away his apples, and it said that he enjoyed an apple tart in the springtime. And it's like, you give away your last bag of apples. And he did so in a way that they didn't realize how much of a burden it was that he was giving it to them. And this is a whole part of the Be Generous in Secret. This is a whole part of the Be Generous in Secret. And so, Mr. Knightley is just all around awesome. And Miss Bates yammers on, and it is difficult to read, and I'm sorry that I stumbled through it. I was trying to give the impression of how she speaks, and it really is in the text. It is 2 paragraphs that run for 3 pages. I mean, it is just this wall of text, and I actually had to move the mouse down the line to keep track of where I was, because it's pages and pages of a single paragraph, and it's just hard to read and hard to follow. And anyway, that is chapter 9.